guys from the MRC. You join us for the Infinity Season 10 Lobby or League 2A. This is round 5, and as you can see we're at Sardinia, and after 10 minutes of qualifying in the Group 4 cars, we have Wiz on pole in the Genesis, James in second in the second Genesis, so another lockout for the Group 4 boys in the Genesis like they did at Red Bull. In third we have Infinity Graphics in the Porsche. In fourth place we have Phil in the McLaren. In fifth we have Pirate Jim in the Mercedes. In sixth we have Golden Brownie in the Lexus. Seventh place we have Mark in the Mercedes. In eighth place we have Osman in the Toyota 86. And then in ninth place we have Scott in the other Toyota Group 4, which is the Supra. In 10th place we have Gary in the McLaren. In 11th we have Staffy in the Toyota Supra. In 12th place we have Surfer in the Nissan. In 13th we have Tom in the Toyota Supra, Toyota 86. I'm going to get them mixed up all night. In 14th we have Ice in the Nissan, and in 15th we have Brucey in the Lexus. So right, let's get back to the front and get these guys underway. This is a 15-minute sprint race, which will be followed by a 40-minute feature, and away they are going up to turn 1. The two Genesis pulling in line from the start. Seems like everyone got away fairly well. Let's see if there's any carnage to be unfolded into turn 1. Bit of bumping there between Mark and Phil, and there is a big crash. Right, let's jump to the back, because that's Mark that's been caught up in that. Let's jump on board with Mark and see what happens here. Late onto the brakes, but makes the apex and gets a tag from his teammate, it looked like, and drops him all the way to the back of the field. Not what teammates want to be doing on turn 1. So let's go back track side. And the two Lexus followed closely by Graphics in third there, putting a bit of a gap over Golden Brownie, but obviously from that incident I think that is what has opened up the gap between the front three and the rest of the pack, who are all still tightly packed. So Pirate Jim hitting the wall there, coming out onto the back straight. Looks like he might be under a bit of pressure from Scott, coming up the hill into this hairpin left. Scott's going around the outside. Will he make it stick? No, he can't. He gets pushed a little bit wide there from Osman. So Scott's down to 7th position, just losing that one spot to Osman after trying to go up a place to Pirate Jim. Phil there, I think, got caught up in a bit of that turn 1 incident. In 8th, going for a move up the inside of Scott there. See how these get through the last little kink before the start-finish line. Surfer gets in front of Scott there. Brucey's made his way up from 15th to 10th in one lap, so he's done really well there for the second Lexus in the race. And is Staffy going for a move around the outside of Ice? Probably not the best idea. Well, it's a banked corner, but fastest line is definitely on the apex. So Mark there is probably glad it's only a little 15-minute race. He can start again for the feature. But Wiz out in front with James just following suit. Probably not going to put him under too much pressure, but obviously got to try and keep graphics behind him as they come up the back straight to the hairpin once again. So a lot of action happening on the first lap, but looks like these boys are in line astern. Golden and Jim 4th and 5th. Feel there. Looks like everyone's kind of staying as they were so far. It's definitely a battle here from who's at the front of the pack. Osman down to Ice at the moment for, I think that was 6th position, all covered within about 2 seconds of each other, maybe 2.5. But as we cross the line for the second time, Wiz and James have just pulled a little bit of a gap out of over graphics in first and second, so graphics won't want to lose too much time, otherwise we'll be losing that slipstream, and slipstream here is quite strong with fairly long straights on the start finish and the back straight. So Lexus there still under pressure from Jim into the, I'm going to call it turn 2 and 3. A little bit wide there from Golden Brownie coming out of there. Oh, Jim going for a move? No, he's not. He's just going to stick behind, probably try and make the slipstream work up the back straight. See if he can make a move up to the hairpin. It goes too wide between Osman and Phil behind. Stick with these two for the moment. See if there's anything behind that's going to happen. Oh, Jim goes to the outside of Golden Brownie, so he's going to give him racing room. Tries for the cutback, doesn't make it work. Scott there goes up the inside of Surfer. Surfer gets a little bit squirrely coming out. Side by side action. Probably not best thing to be going too wide up to this fast right left. Wide there from Scott, giving Surfer racing room, but keeps it on track, doesn't want it wide. And Phil's made the move up on Osman, so let's just quickly jump back to see how Osman got it wide coming into there, so it gives Phil a bit more of a better drive coming up to the last corner. Obviously dirty tyres as well is not going to help on stopping to make the apex. So Phil's moving his way back up from the lap 1 incident. Brucey and Surf are going side by side across the line up to turn 1. That Lexus has definitely got a lot of power. Will Brucey just pull in behind Surfer, because as I say, around the outside of turn 1, especially with that gravel being there, it's horrible when you get into it. It just slows you right down. But Brucey's gone for the old switcheroo up to turn 2 and 3. Can't make it stick. Scott's there waiting to see if anything's going to happen between these two, and they keep it nice and clean. But will Brucey have a chance up the back straight to the hairpin at the end? Pulled out the slipstream really early, so hopefully that Lexus has got the power over the Nissan to make it. Brucey's already got the position, but will he keep it after the apex of the hairpin? Let's just keep moving for a second. Still side by side action. Great racing from these guys as they come up to the right left. Going to call it the old flip flop. Keeping it all nice and clean still. It looks like these boys will be battling for the majority of the race. Brucey goes for a move up the inside, but can't make it stick. It's probably going to give Scott a bit of a chance coming across the line. Let's see if anything else happened. Gary there in 12th. with Tom just behind and Staffy just behind Tom. So the two Toyotas of a different model battling at over 13th position at the moment. Staffy goes for the inside of Tom, and will he make it stick? It looks like he will. Gets it stopped. Yes. So Staffy up to 13th. So the Supra having the bragging rights over the 86, but the 86 looks like it's coming back. Ooh, a little bit of a tap there, but Staffy catches it. Absolutely lovely drift round turn 2 from Staffy. Mark there in 15th. Looks like, is he catching up? He is catching up a little bit where everyone else is fighting, and he's be able to put in some clean laps. So let's jump back up to the front. Wiz there in first, still being followed closely by his teammate in second. So pretty reminiscent of the Red Bull ring of the two Genesis boys slowly walking away with it. But let's obviously see how the feature race goes, because it might be good for the soft tyres, but when they get onto the mediums it might be a completely different story. Graphics has just dropped off the back of these two boys. Obviously he's lost that slipstream, so that's going to allow Jim, who has got past Golden Brownie potentially in the last lap, must have been watching all the other battles going on. So that's going to allow Jim to try and hopefully close up to the back of Graphics. Now he hasn't got the slipstream. Golden Brownie's dropped off the back of Jim that lap. I feel they're being followed closely by Osman, so not been able to pull away since he got past a couple laps ago. And Brucey there, he has finally got ahead of Surfer. He must have missed, obviously I have missed that, he's probably done it down the back straight coming up to that hairpin and got it nailed in over Surfer. Got there looking to see which way he can try and go round. He's going to go around the outside of Surfer, but gets his braking point wrong and drops a couple positions. Just going to drop the one. Thought Gary might have been able to have a little cheeky look up the inside of Scott. But there's three Toyotas there within 4 spaces, so clearly not a track for the Toyota, this one. This is not like in the high speed element of the track. Oh, Gary won't be able to have a look. So these boys have just a little bit of a gaps between them opening up. Obviously all quite, if they didn't get their qualifying right, obviously trying to make their way through. Just like Brucey, I think he started in 15th, he's now up to 8th position. And what's Phil doing over there? It's definitely not the line. He's got damage. And what happened to Phil? Did he get it wrong going through flip-flop? Yeah, it looks like did he smash the wall, or did he get hit by Osman? I have to jump on board and have another look at that one. So Osman is fairly close behind. He smashes the wall and then so Osman had nothing he could do there through the flip-flop part of the track. So that's going to allow Brucey to catch up to the back of Phil with Brucey getting it, big old tank slapper coming out of the last corner there. But Phil's going to have that damage for about 30 seconds, I believe it is. You carry it for and then it will clear itself, so Brucey's going to maybe catch up to him. It feels damage has now gone from that incident through the corner, but has allowed Osman set free to go after Golden Brownie. So we've only got, what's happened there with Brucey? Again, all sorts of wrong coming out of the first corner. Did he touch the gravel? I presume that he has. Seems good so far. Yeah, touched the gravel. Saved it, absolutely wonderful there, but it has now allowed Surfer to get back past him. So all the work Brucey's done to get past Surfer has been undone, and one corner shows you how close these guys are racing. But Ice has Ice? No, it was Gary that was behind, wasn't it? So yeah, Scott's not been able to make any moves on Ice at the moment. And Gary there has dropped back behind Staffy. So is he going to be able to keep Tom behind him? Mark is very slowly catching. What are they doing? They're doing 50s, 51s, and he's doing 49s. So a couple seconds lap. Is he going to have any more time left in the race to potentially make up one position? I do believe for the sprints it is only the top 10 that score points. So staying in it could mean that he could potentially get, if he gets 10th position, with everyone fighting, it is still possible. But these two Lexus, in a league of their own, they are crossing the line now. I shall jump back to graphics, who has got Pirate Jim behind him. Let's see how far. James is about 6 seconds ahead, so James Wiz is about 7 seconds ahead. So that's how much they've pulled out over 13 minutes of racing. It's about half a second a lap quicker. Doing some quick maths. But Osman has been able to catch up to the back of Golden Brownie. Since Phil had that little incident through flip-flop. And Brucey's got ahead of Surfer again. Did Surfer get it wrong? No, I think Surfer, he could have. I think Surfer did get it a little bit wide coming out of turn 1, so it allowed Brucey to get back past the Surfer. If I miss these two for one lap, they keep swapping places. Scott looking this way and that behind Ice as well. We've got the two Nissan boys followed by the two Supras. But Scott's not been able to do much on that GTR. I think that GTR has got the greater speed over the Supra down the straight. The Supra used to be the OP car, but has been nerfed in updates. It's going side by side coming up to the hairpin. Will Scott stick this move over Ice? Looks like he does. So the Supra still hasn't lost that much speed as I thought it had. So I thought the Nissan was a fairly quick car in a straight line. But we are coming up to the last 30 seconds. Gary gets it all sorts of wrong. I don't think that McLaren likes it through. Let's jump on board. I don't think it likes it through flip-flop. It's probably the hardest corner on the track. We're going so fast and getting it slightly wrong here. A little bit too late coming in. Oh, and he gets a tap from Tom. Not much Tom could have done there. But he's got damage the same as Phil had. As I was saying, we've got less than 20 seconds left of the race. So will these boys get on to another lap? Let's just stay with them and see if they do or don't. I think it's going to be Mark that's going to be the one that's closest, if he's going to get another lap or not. Crosses the line on the 15-minute mark to get an extra lap. So on to the last lap, lap 9. Whiz into the barrier at turn 3, but he's going to keep ahead of James in second place. Jim and Graphics fighting for the last spot on the podium. Will Jim try and use that slipstream up the back straight to the hairpin and sneak third place off of Graphics? Which Graphics has had a really good race up at the front, but now obviously under pressure from Jim in the dying moments of this race. We'll quickly go back. Osman is pressuring Golden Brownie as well, with Phil following closely behind. Brucey still ahead of Surfer, and Scott behind Surfer. So will Jim go for the move up the inside of the last corner? He does. It does go a little bit of a tap there. I think Jim's going to have to concede the position to Graphics there, but along come the line is Wiz, followed closely by James for first and second for the Genesis. In third place comes across the line is Graphics. Fourth is Jim, so he did let him have that. In fifth is Golden Brownie. This is going to get a bit mental coming across the line now. In sixth place comes Phil. Seventh is Ozman. Eighth is Brucey. Ninth is Surfer. 10th Scott. Ice in 11th. Staffy in 12th. Smokey in 13th. Gary in 14th. And Mark, he did catch up at the end, just ran out of time and finishes in 15th. So while I jump over to the next race, I'm just going to have a quick drinks break. Right, so race 2, the 40-minute feature race. Obviously, they start where they finished the first race, but from instance from previous races, Wiz got a 5-place penalty, so that he will start in 6th, and Scott also got a 5-place penalty. And will start at the back of the grid. So obviously they're 2 to watch out, because obviously they have dropped 5 positions, so they should, well, potentially go up through the field. But obviously we will watch for them during the race. Right, let's get these guys underway, and lights are out, and away we are for the feature race at Sardinia. Right, James gets another good start, same as the sprint, and Graphics slips right in behind him to stop Jim from making a move on him. So we'll see how clean this lap is as we go through. Phil's going around the outside of Golden Brownie. That's a lot better, boys. That's how it should have been on the first race. Nice and clean, didn't look like there's any touches from anyone through the first turn. Osman there, just nipping up the inside of Ice through turn 3 and 4. So where Scott's already got up to 12th position, so he's made 3 places already round the outside of his teammate, around the long left before the back straight. And away they go. Who was that losing at the back? That was Tom. Let's just jump on with Tom. Wiz got a terrible start. I'm guessing he must have jump started, but Wiz, oh, he just got the grass, just that little bit of grass between the track and the barrier, and that's what sent his car spinning round. So back at the front, it's like we've seen it all before. The Genesis out in first, but James is there, followed closely by Graphics, with everyone single file coming through up to flip flop. The only exception is Tom, who obviously did have the incident. Everyone running wide through from the dirty air through the end of that left-hander. Coming up to the end of lap 1, we've got James in first, followed by Graphics, then Jim, then Phil, then Golden Brownie, and Surfer and Brucey. I don't think you two can perfectly split on this race so far. Brucey in 7th, Osman 8th, Mark in 9th place, Scott 10. So he's made up 5 positions already. So he's 5 grid penalty that he had, he's already made up in 1 lap. Ice in 11th, Gary 12th, Staffy 13th, and Wiz in 14th. And we see Tom at the back for the moment. So Wiz did start in 6th. As I say, I think he did get a jump start, which obviously it does kind of hold you on the grid for longer until the race starts. So you do start about a second slower than everyone else, which obviously is not what you want at the beginning of a race. Let's have a look back up the front, see if there's some moves going back where we're looking. Brucey's got past Surfer. It looks like the Lexus teammates are helping themselves out there of Golden giving Brucey the slipstream to get past Surfer coming out of that long left at the back straight. That does Brucey hold on to it into the hairpin. Looks like he will. Oh, that's a lot of lag by Osman there, going through the hairpin. I thought he'd got it wrong there, but suddenly then was back on the racing line. Absolutely fine. So just Gran Turismo use that going off. That's Scott going off out of flip-flop for the last corner. Dirty tyres is not going to be your friend around there. Ice made the move up the inside. Scott couldn't get it stopped in time. But he's going to stick right behind him, see if he can use the slipstream to go a bit wide, draft past up to turn 1. I don't think he can. Going that little bit wide, just dropped a little bit of speed for him down the main straight. And stays behind Ice for the moment. Osman's being under pressure from Mark here, and doesn't get the position. But I've noticed that Golden Brownie has been passed by Brucey. Where did that happen? I missed that. Brucey went up the inside of Golden Brownie into the last corner. Probably a bit of team orders there. They're both on racing softs, so Brucey's been able to make a bit more out of it than Golden can at the moment. We'll just jump back to where we were. Brucey sets the purple sector in the first sector is purple for him, so he's been released from Golden and trying to catch up to the back of Phil, who is still battling with Jim, but it looks like graphics because no, he's not going to make a move there, but Jim is under pressure from Phil, just holds on to it coming out of the hairpin. There's battles all up and down the field here, it's hard to know where to look. Phil's trying to go around the outside, probably not the best place to go, but gets the old switcheroo, absolutely sold him for a kipper there. Let's have a look at back of that one from Phil's perspective. Okay, from the hood view. Goes out wide, makes Pirate Jim go in and just goes too hot going into it, and Phil's absolutely loved that move there on Jim, and Brucey's now going for the move on Jim as well, from obviously going off through flip-flop. Gets a little bit argy-bargy, not much I don't think Brucey could do there to save himself, but he did. Golden Brownie there well out onto the right hand side, probably not trying to get into the battle, but it's kind of Brucey trying to go for the position on Jim. Just snips in front of there into turn 1. So the two Lexus boys there 5th and 6th, with Surfer just behind, watching everything unfold, hoping there'll be a opening up for him to try and make a move forward. Obviously getting it sideways there coming out of turn 3. Osman there in 8th, Ice in 9th. A little bit of breathing room for Ice there in between Osman and Wiz, who has made a few places from 14th now to 10th. So slowly getting their medium tyres warmed up. That is obviously one of the rules for the feature race, that you have to use 2 different compounds. I do believe obviously everyone will use the soft and the medium at some point, and probably be pitting around the halfway mark of 20 minutes. Gary there in 12th, being followed closely by Staffy, and we have lost someone, I believe. Who have we lost? Let's have a look. I believe we've lost Scott. So Staffy's now the only Supra in the race. So he's got to try and get as many points as he can for Team Supra. I don't know why Scott has left the race, but maybe an internet issue coming from the other side of the world. Could just be a internet. But I did just see turn 1, there was a bit of swapping of changing of places. Graphics going for the lead, he does get it, but I think James can hold it round the outside. He does. Graphics can't use the apex or the exit of turn 1 to carry the speed, so James keeps P1 for the moment. It's also given a bit of breathing room to James, where Graphics got a little bit squirrely coming out of turn 1, but I'm sure Graphics will be right up James's tailpipes again after the back straight. But James is on the medium tyres, so that's probably why Graphics is keeping up with him for the moment. But we'll see obviously when James goes to the softs if Graphics can keep up with him, because obviously they probably will be on the opposite tyres. Shows you how strong that Genesis is if you can keep ahead of someone on a harder set of tyres. Phil there in 3rd, just pulled a gap over Jim, obviously from that incident that he had through flip-flop. But Surfer, Brucey, Golden, Osman and Ice all in a line here, coming through the flip-flop. Golden Brownie's gone well wide. What has he been doing there? And spinning it in fashion. I think he's taken out someone else in the meantime, holding his brakes, but let's have a look. So Surfer's just dived up the inside of Golden there. Don't think Osman's going to get a touch on him, but see what happened here with Golden Brownie coming through. Just keeps turning right into the left-hander. And who is it he hits? Oh, Wiz. Wiz had nowhere to go. Let's jump on board with Wiz and see it from his point of view. So as he's coming round the right-hander, seeing Golden going well wide. Nothing, absolutely nothing that Wiz could have done there to avoid making contact with Golden Brownie. And obviously Golden Brownie is now dropped from, I think it was 7th position, now down to 13th. So it's going to be a race of how well can you do to get back up to the back of the pack. But seeing how close everyone is, I think that's going to be a mighty fine struggle for him. But we do have a person in the pit. We got Mark in the pit. He's had enough of his medium tyres. He's going to try and do half an hour on the soft. I think on that Mercedes, it's possible to do. But that has, let's see what it's done to the pack. Surfer's got ahead of Brucey, so Brucey was ahead near the end of the lap, so might have had an incident at some point, and Osman and Ice there following Brucey and Surfer for trying to get up to 5th position for the moment. But Osman, Osman's the highest Toyota out of the 86 and the Supra for the moment, but Brucey and Surfer going side by side once again to the hairpin. And we all know that Lexus loves its tail end stepping out, coming out the corners. So I've got too much power and not enough grip, I believe, that car. Went through flip-flop once again. They both run really wide. Is it going to give Osman a chance? No, it's not, but they're both going to have really dirty tyres. Brucey goes far too deep. Surfer gets it all sorts of wrong. There's action wherever you look at the moment, so let's have a look, see what happened to Surfer. Just on the power too much with the dirty tyres. That's spun him up, and he's just dropped 3 places in about 3 seconds out the apex of that corner and got picked up damage from it. But Osman there dives into the pits with Jim as well. So that's both the Mercedes that have come into the pit, and Ice there trying to go for a move around the outside of Brucey. Brucey gets it a little bit too deep but gathers it back up, but Ice is there on the inside coming up to turn 3. Will Ice make the position work for him, but he's got to give racing room to Brucey. Still on the E. Oh, Brucey, you don't want to be doing that. But Ice has made that work from turn 1 to turn 4. He's got the position over Brucey. We'll jump up to the front because these two are still going hammer and tong. I think Graphics is trying to make his way round James, but just can't do it. James keeps parking at Genesis, which is about 4 miles wide compared to the Porsche, which is a dainty little car compared. But yeah, Graphics can't do anything about it at the moment. James gets a little bit of dirt on the tyres. Can Graphics make the move and keep it in first position? He can this time, but will the Genesis power be too strong for the Porsche down the main straight? James goes a little bit wide. Probably the first time he's had dirty air through that corner this race. He had it from Wiz in the last one, but that Porsche's got some decent pace on it, that's for sure. Keeping ahead of James down the main straight, so Graphics holds on to first place, and he has set the fastest lap of 38.7. So these two are battling hard, fair and fast, which obviously Phil is just trying to keep up with them as best he can. But these two do seem to be a bit like Wiz and James were in race 1, a bit of league of their own. But Phil is keeping them honest there. Any mistake and he'll have them. Brucey there fighting with Ice, so Brucey's gone from fighting one Nissan to fighting another Nissan. And you've got Surfer and Wiz just behind, so Wiz is slowly making his way back up the field from pretty much last place after lap 1. Brucey there is going defensive into the hairpin. Keeps ahead of him. Surfer there keeping ahead of Wiz. Gary and Staffy there having another battle. Seems to be everyone's in 2s at the moment. Golden Brownie there in 10th place. I think he's there because of others pitting. Tom is into 11th, but I think it's the same reason as Golden Brownie, because you've got Jim, Osman and Mark here. If you look on the track map top right, they are a fair distance behind, so you do lose a lot of time coming in the pit, but obviously it is mandatory, so You can't just do the whole race on one set of tyres. But we'll see how they fare when everyone else comes into the pit. But Graphics there still out in first position ahead of James, so he's been able to keep it for a lap. And Phil looks like he's gained time, 49.5. Yeah, 49.5, 49.2. So he has caught up about, let's say about a second in the last 2 laps. So he's going to be in James's slipstream now, coming up the back straight, which is going to help him slowly cruise up to the back of the front 2 there. And Brucey there still fighting with that Nissan. I'm sure he's getting sick of the sight of that Nissan either in front of him or behind him, but they're going side by side up to the hairpin once again. Will Brucey make it stick around the outside? No, he lets Ice have the position. I think it's better off trying to fight. Still got, we've got 24 minutes left of the race, so when you've had 16 minutes of fighting so far, it's kind of ebb and flow of letting someone go to see if you can make grounds up on them later in the race. But Wiz there has got past Surfer and trying to make his move up to the back of Ice and Brucey, but Brucey I think got a bit of a tank slapper. He surely did, because he's dropped a lot of space. Well, there is a lot of space now between Ice and Brucey. Does he get on the power too early? He sure does. Smashes into the wall, gives it another tap just for time's sake, but yeah, he's lost a lot of speed there, coming out of the final corner onto the main straight, which is not the place to be losing all your speed from, but it's given Wiz then a chance potentially. Is he going to make a move up to turn 1, or is he too far behind? I think Wiz will probably play the long game and sit behind him. Does think about it. Wiz did think about a move there on Brucey. Yeah. Wiz has got a lot better tyres than Brucey, but obviously they are on different compounds, so Wiz is doing fairly well to gain these positions up on the medium tyres. Surfer there in 7th, just kind of watching behind Brucey and Wiz fight through the first sector of the lap. Gary there in 8th place. Looks like is he trying to fuel save compared? No, he's got about the same amount of fuel. I just thought he's just dropped off a little bit from the back of the pack. But Golden's Brownies up into 9th, Smokey 10th, so someone else pitted. Staffy is pitted on lap 8. So probably missed that as I was going through everything. Everyone fighting, but Phil has got ahead of James. He's literally done it on the last corner, so as I said, that slipstream definitely helped Phil catch up to the back of James. A little bit of a love tap there, but nothing to worry about. I think that was more James kind of trying to keep it as tight as he could, but James is darting into the pit. He's had enough of his medium tyres, probably ran out of fuel. He's got a little bit less fuel than Phil, so Phil's going an extra lap. Graphics has still got about 15% worth of fuel. Probably go another 2 laps, I would say, with fuel he's got left. That's promoted Ice, or everyone so far, up a position, with James pitting from 3rd place. Brucey there, they both dropped Surfer, so Surfer's had a 150.7, they're 149, so yeah, Surfer, is he dying of death in his tyres? His tyres aren't looking in the best of shapes. Obviously they're still round, but they're dying of grip. Gary there, looks like he's getting closed down a bit from Golden Brownie. Yeah, he's doing consistent 150s, literally from lap 5. And Golden Brownie's in the 48th and 49, so down 48.9, so far off the fastest lap is Golden Brownie. So after that incident, he's definitely been pushing to try and make his way back up the pack for when everyone makes their pits, and see what he can do from there. But James has come out in 9th position, just ahead of Jim, but he is now on the soft tyres. So Jim's had, how many laps has Jim had? About 5 laps so far on the soft tyres. Looks like he's been able to gain up a bit of time in there, because they've been doing about 49s, just on the last couple laps of 48s. But Phil is into the pit, so he had 0% of fuel. Any further around a lap and he would have run out and been pootling around the track for the rest of the lap. But Osman there in 11th, being followed closely by Mark in 12th, Stuffy there in 13th, and Tom has pitted as well. So, what's happening there with Brucey? Wiz has got ahead of Brucey at some stage. Brucey goes for a dive up the inside, makes the apex. Both get it a little bit, well, Brucey gets it sideways and Wiz hits the gravel, but Brucey was able to get the power down sooner than Wiz could coming out of turn 1. And Brucey looks like he runs it a bit too deep. Oh, wrong way. Yeah, it allows Wiz to cleanly get past Brucey. Bruce was on the grass, but it looks like Wiz will be coming in this lap. Brucey will be doing the same as well. How's Graphics getting on? He's set the fastest lap of the race on very worn soft tyres, but low fuel. It does help, but obviously he's got no pressure from behind at the moment. Absolutely flying out ahead of Wiz. But obviously once he pits, we'll see where they all come out. Brucey as well. Once again, another Nissan behind him, but this time it's Surfer. So it looks like from Infinity James, everyone else has pitted, so the front 5 are still to pit. I do believe they'll probably all be pitting this lap because all their fuel lights were on. So James there in a potential 2nd place, because he has jumped Phil, who came into the pit last lap. So coming up 1 lap earlier has gained James about a 1.5 seconds over Phil. Pirate Jim just behind Phil. A little bit of net code there from Jim coming out of the last corner. Osman there in 9th position. Yeah, it looks like everyone has pitted. And where is Graphics now compared to James? James has dropped off the back of Graphics. Graphics is out of the turn 1 already, and James is just coming into it, so it's hard to tell because obviously the out lap timings for 1, 2, about 4-second gap between, 3 to 4 second gap between James and Graphics at the moment. But Phil went a bit wide there. Was he pushed by Jim through turn 2? They're fighting pretty hard here up to turn 2. Phil's defending it on the inside, but Phil just gets the braking a little bit wrong and Jim follows him. But Jim was been able to get out the gravel a little bit quicker than Phil was, so that's going to allow Osman to close the gap up to the back of Phil. He's going to have dirty tyres for a couple of corners, so Osman's going to be in the slip of Phil coming up the back straight. Mark there in 6th, so after the first race for Mark, he's obviously happy, but there was 2 races around Sardinia. He's been able to make up from, what was he was started 14th to 6th position. Obviously now everyone has pitted for a fresh set of rubber, either mediums or softs. But there, Osman and Phil going side by side into flip-flop. Osman decides better of it and sit behind Phil for the moment, but Phil gets onto the gravel or the grass. Will Osman take a sniff up the inside? He does. He gets it snopped and gets it past, so Phil has lost 2 places this lap, 1 to Jim and 1 to Osman. Brucey there with ice all over his rear end. As I say, it's just been Brucey fighting the Nissans for both races of the sprint and the feature, and great action so far from them, all really clean. And you can see their surface not far behind these guys battling. Brucey's having to defend into turn 1 there. Staffy there in 11th place. I think he is slowly catching the back of Surfer for the moment, but there's action up ahead. Brucey there getting, looks like he's got bundled wide into turn 2 and 3, so he's lost place to Ice and Wiz in the first sector alone. Not what you wanted to see, but then once again, if he looks in his rearview mirror, he's got a Nissan behind. Golden Brownie there. He's got past Gary, I believe, looking, yeah, both pitted. Well, Gary pitted lap 11 and Golden pitted lap 12, so Golden jumped Gary in the pit. Tom there, he's been able to catch up to the back of the pack very slowly. He is getting there, but I think when he was about 15 seconds behind, it's a lot to catch up. And you can't really do much with strategy to gain that back in a race of this length. But to the front, Graphics has been caught by James, who has set fastest lap of 48.2, where Graphics has been doing a 49s, so James is making them soft tyres work more than Graphics is making them mediums. So as I said, interesting to see the speed difference of that Genesis once he put the soft tyres on his car, to see what he could do against Graphics. But I do believe these two will be fighting to the end unless anything happens between the two of them. But Jim there in 3rd, Phil is in 6th place. Looking at the lap times, he's not had the greatest of laps since he's come out of the pit. They're doing 49s and he was doing 52s, 53s and a 51, so losing about 8 seconds a lap. Obviously not getting on with their medium tyres, but going just past Mark there into the hairpin. Gets him back up a place to 5th position. And will they all keep it nice and clean through flip-flop? They all keep it on the black stuff. It's good to see. Wiz there in 7th position, so I think it's a tough ask potentially to catch up to the back of Phil, but seeing what James is doing in the Genesis up front, I think anything is possible in that car. But you love to see it. Brucey in a Nissan sandwich. What more could he ask for? But what I will do is, seems to be everyone's a little bit spread out for the moment. A lap guide of Sardinia. Oh, whiz there, fast lap of 48.1, so he's really trying to catch up to the back of the field. So, as I said, anything is possible in that Genesis, it seems. I think they need to add a bit of ballast to that car. It seemed to be a bit OP in the Group 4s, that's for sure. Bruce there, getting a bit of under attack from Surfer. Looked like he got a little bit wide. Oh, smashes into the barrier. It's going to give Surfer a drive coming up the back straight. Will Surfer, looks like Surfer's already got past Brucey. Oh, no, they are still side by side. Brucey's kept it there just. It's going to be a tough ask to try and make that move stick round the outside at the hairpin. But yeah, Staffy's definitely closing into the back of these guys battling. Gary's got ahead of Golden Brownie there. Looks like we're on the last lap. A 49 to a 52, so Golden Brownie not liking them medium tyres. But we'll go on board with graphics. We'll stay in this view so you can see James behind. We're coming up to turn 1. 90-degree left-hander, a little bit of banking there, does help you pull round, and then you've got this right-left, technically not really a corner because you don't even lift for it, and then coming up to turn 2, turn 3 is just a very big chicane, so you don't want to get the power on too early and run it right onto that grass on the left, and then you come up to the nearly a hairpin left-hander turn 4 onto the back straight and up the hill. You see James there in the rear view mirror getting closer every metre of this back straight. Will graphics defend coming into the hairpin? It looks like he will. And not going into the left hand hairpin here. James goes a bit wide coming up, and you've got a right here, and then coming down the hill to then go back up the hill into the right left of flip-flop. As I say, it's the trickiest corner I think on the track because the car just glides away from you. Then you come into the last corner of the left hand hairpin again, go through the penalty markers and then through the right kink, and you come across the start finish line. You see that one is, you don't want to hit the curve too much on the right hand side, but there we go, there's one lap of Sardinia for you. Thank you, Dave, for the lap guide. As you can see, James there is right up behind graphics. You can see in the viewing mirror for the whole lap, literally didn't leave it, it was just there with his headlights shining into him, trying to blind him. Is James going to go for a move up the inside? No, he's not. He's going to sit behind graphics for the moment, probably try and do something at the end of the back straight. Jim there all by himself in third, but still very good from the Mercedes. Osman there in fourth, Mark in fifth. Wiz has got himself up to sixth, so he has caught up to the back of the pack. How much of the pack will he get through before the end of the race? We've got just over 7 minutes left to go. Phil there in seventh. Ice has been able to pull out a bit over Brucey in the Nissan Sandwich. Brucey's absolutely loving. What sauce are you going to put with that, Brucey? Bit of ketchup, bit of mayo. Staffy has been able to catch up to the back of these guys obviously where they have been fighting for 8th, 9th and 10th position. Gary there in 12th, just coming through the hairpin, and Golden Brownie there absolutely miles behind, but he has pitted again for another set of softs, seeing probably if he can go for the fastest lap. There's not really much you're going to be getting for 12th and 13th place, so might as well try something different. The graphics there holding on to first place, so just less 6 minutes left of the race to go. So since the it was about lap 8 or 9 when he got past James just before the pit window, he hasn't been out of first place so far, but James is keeping him there, keeping the pressure on, seeing if he can force a mistake from graphics in the later stages of this race. But graphics has been doing, you look at them lap times, within 3 or 4 tenths for 6 laps it looks like, so that's pretty good going when you're especially when you're on racing medium tyres, which aren't the kindest to the car. His Jimmy's catching, he's doing 48s. These boys are doing 49s, but James can't get them softs to do anything against the mediums of that Porsche. So he is burning his tyres up to try and get past him. We just quickly jump back through the pack to see, and Wiz has got past Mark as well, so he's got one more place and he's made it through the little pack that he was only about 5 laps ago, about 3 seconds behind. So he's really done well to get that Genesis through the guys, but will he have enough time to catch up to Ozman and get past him? Phil there has dropped off the back. I think he's had a bad lap this lap, 156 I think this will be, so he's lost about 6 seconds on that lap, so that's why he's dropped off the back of Mark, and now under pressure from Ice for 7th and 8th position. Surf has got ahead of Brucey, so Brucey no longer in his little Nissan sandwich that he's been in for a few laps now, but he is coming back at Surfer, trying round the outside. Will he make it work? Will Surfer give him the room on the apex? It looks like he does, but Brucey gets it tail happy coming out of turn 3 to give Surfer 9th position. But now Brucey under that rear ring of the DTR, coming up to the hairpin of the back straight, going around the outside. I'm sure there's a song in there somewhere, but will Brucey make it work this time? I don't think he will. He's getting that back end out again. Good stuff. He's just sat there in 11th, just watching these boys fight. He's trying to just keep it going with them racing mediums on. Ooh, just touching the gravel, coming through the exit of Flip Flop. Brucey looking round the outside of Surfer into the final hairpin. Not much he can do there. And I have just seen that Graphics has been overtaken by James, so there has been a change of lead. And where is this? Someone's fighting all over the field. It's hard to tell where to look at sometimes. Graphics gets a little bit slowly coming out of turn 3, gives James the run up to turn 4, and James gets it stuck in there, keeps it nice and clean. Will that be the opportunity James needs to pull away from Graphics? You can see there Jim with a half-second penalty at the back. I don't know how you really get a half-second penalty around here. It's mainly barriers for most of the lap. But we jump back to where we were. So yeah, James has been able to stay ahead of graphics so far, and we've got about a lap, maybe 2 laps left of the race. See how they get along when they cross the line. Jim has obviously served his penalty, which is in a horrible position just after the last hairpin, so you lose a fair bit of time. You don't just lose the half second that you serve. The Osman Wiz has had an incident somewhere. Don't know, 148. But yeah, he's lost time this lap. So where's Wiz lost time? Oh, coming out of turn 1. He's caught right up to the back of Osman. Just set purple lap. And then looks like he gets on the power too early. Touches the gravel. And into the barrier goes Wiz. So that'll be why he's dropped from 5th place down to 6th, but his feels not close enough to do anything to get past Wiz. So Wiz will probably be quite annoyed about that. He's looking at a P4 on the cards, and now he's looking at potentially trying to defend off for P6 in the last couple of laps off the race. But Mark's going to be quite happy about that. He's gained a position and not had to do anything about it. And Wiz obviously, not Wiz, Osman now not under pressure from Wiz for 4th position. And Ice there as he's checked out from 2 boys behind who are still fighting. Brucey's still looking around the outside of the back straight hairpin, and that is now under pressure from Stuffy. But there's not much you can do with the entry to flip flop. All you can do is try and get a better exit out of it, and looks like Stuffy's going to. Brucey got it a bit too hot coming in and hits the old barrier. Does he pick up any damage? No, he doesn't. He just picks up dirty tyres, which gives him dirty tyres again for the last hairpin. So Brucey there fighting with Surfer all of quarter of a lap ago, and he's now 3 or 4 seconds behind, just from one little incident through flip-flop. Gary there in 12th position and Golden in 13th. And I have just realised that we've lost Smokey twice, but James there, as I say, he's got past graphics, been able to set fastest lap of the race, and this is the last lap of the race. We've got 5 seconds left, so we shall stick with these guys, and obviously I'll try and keep my eye on the leaderboard on the left if anything happens between now and then. But James there in 1st, graphics in 2nd, and Jim in 3rd. Looks like that is how it will finish. And quickly jump through, see if Surfer and Staffy are fairly close. Lucy dropped off. Golden Brownie has finished the race. Obviously that extra pit stop for the softs didn't work, he just couldn't get a lap in. Now, probably a fast enough lap to outmuscle the Genesis power, but cracking win there from Infinity James for 1st place, followed by Graphics in 2nd. Great result for the Porsche. Jim there in 3rd. Osman comes across the line to finish in 4th place. Mark in 5th, so the 2 Mercedes 3rd and 5th there. Wiz from last after that one finishes in 6th, with Phil just behind him in 7th, Ice in 8th, Surfer 9th, Stuffy in 10th. Brucey comes along behind in 11th place after being in that Nissan sandwich for half the race it seemed, and Gary comes across the line to finish in 13th. Obviously if you've enjoyed this commentary, obviously please leave a like and subscribe to see more of the racing for the rest of the Infinity Season 10 season. Obviously this was round 5, so we've still got another 5 rounds to go. But yeah, obviously I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.